What do you make of this hurried exodus from all international institutions which were created by the US, which Donald Trump is quitting?
Donald Trump 2.0, the way he has changed America. Some people are now calling it Trumperica.
Is Trumperica undoing Pax Americana?
US is also abandoning and abolishing many institutions of soft power.
So does this mean that the US is no longer interested in being seen as leader of the free world, which is committed to the welfare, the uplift of the rest of the world, and is no longer interested in promoting its values?
That it looks Mr. Trump is blending two policies of two former US presidents, President Hoover, who believed in isolationist policies, and the Monroe Doctrine of maintaining your hegemony only in the Western hemisphere and leaving the rest of the world on its own.
Trump is not very sympathetic to India when it comes to imposing heavy tariffs. And he wants to impose heavy tariffs on India as it wants to with China.
Indian woes and troubles are not over. It's not just the matter of 700,000 illegal aliens, but also on Chabahar. The reports that I have seen is that they have ended that waiver that allowed waiving them from the US sanctions on Chabahar. So the future of Indian investment in Chabahar is in doldrums.
But do you think this ambitious idea of US taking over Gaza is possible?
What Trump has said is a death knell for two-state solution.
There are prospects of some future rallies which Pakistan is expected to witness. What do you expect this time PTI wants to achieve?
If you hold your rally peacefully, fine. If you created any obstruction on any street, KP police would arrest PTI workers. That's the news. With a fresh episode of The Weekend, I am Murtaza Solangi.
And I'm Muhammad Ali.
You have to open it up today.
I think the last week was very volatile, very eventful, very interesting. And for a lot of policy pundits around the world, somewhat unpredictable. But like we've discussed in some previous episodes, the Trump's arrival, or in fact return to number 600 Pennsylvania Avenue, is quite remarkable, and it seems that he is walking the talk, and he is living up to his reputation of not being predictable. So let's try to understand and make sense of what he is doing, why he is doing, and what does it mean for the world. At the global level, we witnessed some extraordinary and historic decisions, primarily because in the entire post-Second World War world order was anchored in some global international institutions which were pioneered and conceptualized by the US.
Correct.
Including UN and its subsidiary organizations like World Health Organization, like United Nations Human Rights Commission, like International Criminal Court. And within 1 week, we saw under the watch of Trump, US exit from UN Human Rights Commission, US exit from Paris Treaty, US exit from the basically the UN Human Rights Commission, and also sanction International Criminal Court, and completely leave World Health Organization as well. So, what do you make of this hurried exodus from all international institutions which were created by the US, which Donald Trump is quitting?
Well, I remember we used to say in Washington, D.C., when we were together, that there is no dull moment in Pakistan. I can tell you with a great degree of certainty that thanks to the new sheriff on 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue, Donald Trump 2.0, the way he has changed America, some people are now calling it Trumperica. So I can say that news and current affairs and political developments in America have become very, very interesting.
You used a very interesting term, Trumperica. Is Trumperica undoing Pax Americana?
I tend to think so, because even as you were discussing the decimation of multilateral forums or exiting from those multilateral forums per se, US is also abandoning and abolishing many institutions of soft power, including USAID. 10,000 employees, asking them to take severance pay and go home. Many federal institutions. So
does it mean that, according to President Trump, US no longer wants soft power?
It seems so that Mr. Trump only believes in strengthening economically inside US, targeting the base camp, white Anglo-Saxon middle class, blue-collar workers, the voters.
His constituency, basically.
His constituency. That's why it somehow dovetails with this anti-immigration policy and mass deportation of people across the globe, and giving different kind of threatening ultimatums, and even coming true on that, as you saw in terms of Colombia, and we saw it now in case of our eastern neighbor, India. So I tend to agree with what you just said.
But let me add a tweet by former US President Barack Obama. It's quite timely and interesting because you recall his mother worked for USAID, and for some time she was working in Pakistan as well. And
probably Gujranwala.
Yes, and during his college days, President Obama used to visit and stay for a few months with his friends in Karachi as well. And he has mentioned that a few times. And so he issued a very strong and stern warning to Donald Trump, describing the unraveling of US aid as a grave foreign policy blunder, because according to President Obama, it represents American soft power. It's a key instrument of US foreign policy. It allows US to showcase its commitment to global health, poverty eradication, disease control, malnutrition children and things and so on and so forth. So does this mean that the US is no longer interested in being seen as leader of the free world, which is committed to the welfare, the uplift of the rest of the world, and is no longer interested in promoting its values?
It seems so. I think in this space, we have discussed this before, that it looks Mr. Trump is blending two policies of two former US presidents, President Hoover, who believed in isolationist policies, and the Monroe Doctrine of maintaining your hegemony only in the Western hemisphere and leaving the rest of the world on its own. So we have to see how this mix of these isolationism and Monroe Doctrine works under Trump 2.0.
But let's come to some of the other interesting regions which are equally shocked by the policy approach selected in the initial days of President Trump.
Our neighbors, Indians, are shocked.
Absolutely. And they were considering that they are the centerpiece of the Indian so-called Indo-Pacific strategy, and they are the indispensable ally and the frontline state in the containment of China project.
Yeah.
But it seems
the Quad was big thing.
But it seems that Mr. Trump is not very sympathetic to India when it comes to imposing heavy tariffs. And he wants to impose heavy tariffs on India as it wants to with China.
I think he's very sympathetic.
Is he?
He's very sympathetic to a person called Donald J. Trump himself. Other than that, it looks like that he doesn't look beyond that. I mean, look at the decision making, say, for example, the announcement on Gaza. The reports that you have seen and I have seen coming out of the interesting place called America, getting interesting by the hour, not by the day, and that he did not even discuss this Gaza plan with anybody, including Netanyahu.
But before we come to Gaza plan, I want your comment on this very interesting choice of country when it comes to expelling illegal immigrants. According to Western reports, there are more than 700,000 Indian illegal immigrants in the US.
A huge number.
And US Air Force C-17 took 40 hours to bring back around 104 Indian who were resident in the US illegally.
That would include women and children.
And there were some
minors.
And there were some protests in India about the treatment meted out to them. Would you like to share your perspective on it?
Well, I tried to find out. I made few phone calls and had some communication. What I found out was when India found out, they did offer the US to send their aircraft or aircrafts to the US to bring them back with quote-unquote dignity. But America under Trump did not buckle. They did not oblige. And they said, no, nothing doing. We'll send our military aircrafts and they'll take them back the way that we want. And what that way was that reportedly all those 104 people, that would include women and minors, were handcuffed, shackled on the plane that took 40 hours with one toilet on the aircraft, with probably 3 stopovers for refueling and engineering checks. and they finally got to India, and the opposition in India was up in arms. But External Affairs Minister Jaishankar put up a brave face and said that no, that's what they wanted to do, the US. They followed their SOPs and they did what they had to do. So he tried to control the damage. But there is a lot of resentment in India over what happened to those people. And Indian woes and troubles are not over. It's not just the matter of 700,000 illegal aliens, but also on Chabahar. The reports that I have seen is that they have ended that waiver that allowed waiving them from the US sanctions on Chabahar. So the future of Indian investment in Chabahar is in doldrums. Besides the automatic renewal of green cards, the birthright citizenship. So when Mr. Modi arrives in the evening of February the 12th in Washington, D.C., he would have quite a few issues of his own to discuss with Trump rather than extending partnership in Indo-Pacific.
So you mean to say that Donald Trump has already downgraded the significance of India in his foreign policy toolkit, and he is reluctant to offer the same exceptional privileges which New Delhi was expecting during Biden administration?
I want to be proven wrong, but my gut feeling is what you just said.
Okay. Now let's come to Gaza. I think Gaza is a small territory. Some people consider it as a very prized real estate, which offers very lucrative prospects for real estate investment. But some people consider it ideologically, politically, culturally, and historically a very important place. Recently, Donald Trump also made some very interesting statements about taking over the Gaza Strip.
And making it Rivera?
And making it a Rivera. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was the first foreign head of government to visit White House after Mr. Trump took over, also described Mr. Trump as the greatest friend Israel has ever had. So what do you make of this?
Well, I would think Netanyahu is right. If you remember, during the first term of President Trump, it was under his watch that Jerusalem was declared not only capital, but U.S. Embassy moved there. And it was under his watch that he somehow cajoled and somehow prodded and poked the neighbors of Arab neighbors of Israel to sign that famous Abraham Accord. So, and now, soon after his inauguration, he cleared the sale of 1,000 pound bombs to Israel. So I would say from Netanyahu's perspective, he is right.
But do you think this ambitious idea of US taking over Gaza is possible? Because the reactions ranging from Britain to Saudi Arabia to UAE to OIC to UN have not welcomed it.
The very first night, hours after this interaction by Netanyahu and President Trump in White House talking about this taking over Gaza. I think it was late night that Saudi Foreign Ministry gave a statement that nothing short of two-state solution acceptable to Palestinians is acceptable to Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia is a major pillar. And you rightly quoted other countries have said the same. And today I was seeing the reports, even papers like New York Times saying that basically what Trump has said is a death knell for two-state solution. The long-standing position of the international community, including United States, including Mr. Trump, who has been saying in the past. So it means over. If you saw that footage of Mr. Trump, he was sitting on his desk and he put up a marker and he says, this desk is the region around Israel, and Israel is this just little marker. So it needs more space. It needs more land. So in a way, he legitimized the expansionism. Under his watch, they declared Golan Heights to be part of Israel. Now, they are not only talking about Gaza, they are also talking about eliminating Palestinians from West Bank. So, and asking the neighbors of Israel, Jordan and Egypt and whatever other countries to take these 2 million Palestinians and, they are all Arabs, so why can't you take them? Somehow rejecting the very concept that you can have same language, but you can be different nations. Even in Europe, Austria, Germany speak the same language, but they are two different nations. We have Pashto-speaking people in Pakistan, and we have Pashto-speaking people in Afghanistan. And there are just tons of examples. So basically, it's, I would say, the formal demise of the two-nation-state solution that we have been talking about since Second World War. So if you deny two-state solution, then there are Palestinians, and I know many, the left-wing people who have said, okay, if you don't give us two-state solution, then we will go for one-state solution. So then you would have to accept all Palestinians inside Israel. You call it whatever you call it. Israel, you call it X, Y, Z. Then you keep us in that same country and give us the equal rights. I don't know if that's possible or not, but basically I think this is the end of the two-state solution that we all have been advocating.
I was earlier listening to two of the most influential princes of Saudi origin, their former intelligence chief, Prince Turki al-Faisal, and also their former ambassador to the US, Prince Walid. And they both said progress on Abraham Accord would be very difficult without a peaceful and enduring solution to the Palestinian issue. And in fact, Prince Turki al-Faisal was very clear that actually there is no Palestinian issue. It is just an Israeli occupation of Palestine, which is the real issue. So it seems that the Arab allies of the US are also not very keen and eager to accept the political cost which the US is offering them.
In nature, there is no vacuum. If some force pulls out of certain space, somebody else fills in. So if US is taking itself out of the global leadership role, I'm sure some other forces will fill that void.
Talking about leaving political space, we had a former prime minister who is facing serious charges on several
Who has
cases,
been convicted recently
and has
of
been
190 million pounds.
Absolutely.
14
He
years.
has left some space. And there are prospects of some future rallies which Pakistan is expected to witness. What do you expect this time PTI wants to achieve, can achieve? And do you expect them to sort of have a different plan from their earlier experiences to achieve whatever they want to achieve?
They had announced 2 rallies, one in Lahore on Saturday, the 8th, and another rally in Swabi, not Peshawar.
Why so?
Probably some of the influentials thought, Asad Kaisar and company and others, that it would be a good place. It's near the motorway interchange. They can attract some people from, north and central Khyber Pakhtunkhwa away from other areas. If somebody wants to join, and it would be easy from the logistics point of view. But the problem is that nothing else is planned in the rest of the country. They announced that they will go for a big rally in Minar-e-Pakistan, Lahore. But as we speak, they have cancelled that as well. And instead, they are announcing, let's have some tehsil level, some municipal level protests. That's just an excuse that if the Swabi rally fizzles out and it's a poor show, they would say, we didn't plan it to have a big rally. We just announced to have some little local rallies. So that seems to be the excuse. But PTI is in a state of disarray. There's huge problem even in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The conflict between Gandapur and Mr. Khan, conflict between Mr. Gandapur and Bushra Begum, that's out in the open. That's why they have removed Gandapur from the presidentship of the party in the province. And that conflict is widening. So now that the IG police has been changed by the federal government, out of the 3 names sent, Mr. Khan wants that IG to be removed. And Mr. Gandapur is not ready for that. IG police has directed the police and has also warned the new president of PTI, Junaid Akbar, that if you hold your rally peacefully, fine. If you created any obstruction on any street, KP police would arrest PTI workers. That's the news. So, very, very interesting times ahead. They have been waiting for Mr. Trump to bail them out. And they are planning something in the US. My information is that they have reached out to potential journalists traveling with Mr. Modi and also the White House press corps to raise the issue of Mr. Khan. And knowing Trump, you never know. He might say something about Mr. Khan on 13th of February.
Okay, so that's interesting. But we are also expecting, the triangular cricket series to take place in Pakistan. We are also hosting the Champions Trophy this year, and the international attention is also focusing on that. Do you think these rallies create problems for international visitors and travelers, or do you think it won't matter?
PTI is not doing anything in that area that might have any consequences. They have focused on a rally in Swabi alone. Other than that, there is no major protest announced. Mr. Khan would have won a revolution, a Bangladesh model, Sri Lanka model, meltdown, this and that. But if wishes were horses, beggars would ride.
Indeed. I think on that note, let's conclude today's program. Thank you so much for joining us. Viewers, don't forget to share your feedback and comments at this space and give suggestions as well. And hopefully we'll join you next week. Till then, thank you so much.